Hey everyone, what is going on? And welcome back to another video. Before we begin, I gotta show you this amazing Primal Kyogre plush that my friend Stevo gave me. I call him Evo on Twitch. Thank you so much for this. I didn't take it out of the wrapping yet, but I love it. He gave me this in New York Go Fest when we met. So I really do appreciate it. Absolutely love it. Sit down there while I record. Anyway, that's that. We're taking a look at a team that I've hit Legend with multiple seasons, like 3 seasons, I think, that I just hit Legend with this team, and it's still really strong. Cobalion, Pidgeot, and Jellicent. Absolutely love this team. If you've been watching me for a while, you know I've been using this team a lot. I gotta showcase it at least once a season. But let's go ahead and dive right into it, going up against my friend Dr. Lapras. Let's see what you got, my friend. Swampert. Okay, not a good matchup, but it all depends, right? You could win this. It really depends on if the opponent decides to, like, bait, or if you catch a move or something. Obviously, you want to shield the Earthquake, and I don't know, like, I would say the Shadow one usually will bait. The regular one, it's up in the air. It could go either way, but I do successfully shield the Earthquake, which is really good. This is going to be a Hydro Cannon, so I'm not going to give up a shield here. Obviously, my opponent wanted to throw that attack before I was able to KO, right? Because I was going to throw before they got to the Earthquake, right? So either way, I'm going to go ahead and throw another Sacred Sword just to KO. And actually, we do see a shield there. I could shield this and take Switch, and that's exactly what I'm going to do. So I'm going to go ahead and give up a shield here. I knew it was a Hydro, but that would have KO'd. So, I mean, I am down a shield, but I do win that matchup. I'm going to go ahead and bait here. Pretty comfortable bait, right? If they don't shield, they would go down from the Stone Edge. So they have to shield, and that bait allows me to get off more chip damage with the Sacred Sword. So, yeah, I figured it was worth it. A little bit of chip damage, not too much, but I think now I put it in Surf range, at least after all these Hex attacks, right? So, 1 Surf should be enough to knock out. I will not feint to 2 Blast Burns. Jellicent is a tank. We actually do see an attempted catch, so I'm going to bank that Surf. And this is good, because I know that I survive another Blast Burn. So even if they end up getting a lot of energy and they have a Blast Burn ready to go with that Charizard, if they farm down my Pidgeot later on, I'm not going to feint to a Blast Burn, and I'll be able to get off my Surf against the Charizard, right? So against this Mandibuzz, I just want to charge up max energy and go for 2 Brave Birds. I don't have the second one quite yet. But I need to get it off, and now I'm going to get it off. And again, I do have that Surf with the Jellicent, so even if they come in and farm me down, that is totally fine. In fact, that's exactly what's going to happen, because I do live a Blast Burn. So, as we can see, it's a CMP tie, but I knew I would live this. So, Blast Burn coming out, and I did click on my move, so I'm going to be able to get this off. So even if they have another move ready to go, like a Dragon Claw, they're not going to be able to get it off. Good game, well played to my opponent, and we're going to be able to take that one. You'll love to see it. Alright, very good win for me. Let's go ahead and move into the next one. Cobalion into Nidoqueen, really bad lead. Yes, you do heavily resist the poison attack, but the Earth power will KO you. So I'm going to go ahead and go into my Pidgeot right now. I figured my opponent would throw the Poison Fang and dip. Depends what's in the back, of course. But out comes Guzzlord. So at this point, I was thinking double Dark with Poison in the lead. Pretty common team, right? I've seen Nidoqueen double Dark. A lot of times it's with Scrafty and Obstagoon. This time we do see a Guzzlord. I assume that they would shield it, but they actually don't shield it, which is better for them, because look at that. I'm barely not able to farm down. No. So maybe my opponent knew that they were going to live that, but unfortunately that means I'm not going to have the Jellicent aligned, because I was assuming it was double Dark, so I would have liked to have the Jellicent on the Nidoqueen, right, and the Cobalion on the other Dark type, assuming it is another Dark type, and I am assuming it is, but I wasn't sure which one, just because Guzzlord, not really common, but it's actually not. It's not double Dark. It's actually Golisopod, which is actually a really common Pokemon. So I'm going to go ahead and go for the bait here. I think my opponent call, yeah, they call it. Good call there. Should I have baited that? I don't know. It's debatable. Maybe not. Maybe not. But either way, it didn't pan out for me there. And as they get the defense drop, so this game is not going my way. Starting off with the Guzzlord living that Brave Bird, and then us not being able to farm down. But they do shield that Shadow Ball, which is not good. So I'm going to go ahead and let this go. and get off the Stone Edge. Wasn't sure if my opponent would shield this or not, but I do get off the Stone Edge, and they do shield it, unfortunately, and get off this attack. I do have 2 shields, so I'm going to go ahead and commit a shield right now. Still trying to win this one, but it's a tough one. Defense drop. This game is not going my way, but that happens. My opponent attempts to catch, which is what I anticipated, so I didn't throw it right away. I know this is a Poison Fang, so I'm going to go ahead and let it go, but I am getting really low. Now look at this. I'm going to go ahead and throw this attack. I know it's not going to KO. I need to save a Stone Edge, so I'm going to go ahead and switch out. And they do get off an attack, but I know it's a Poison Fang. Oh my god, this game is wild. I know it's a Poison Fang. I live it. I have a shield. I just need to get off the Stone Edge. But this Surf is going to put it in Sacred Sword range, so I could go for Sacred Sword and just KO it. I think I do. I do go for Sacred Sword. Could have went for the Stone Edge for it doesn't really matter. And I'm actually going to be able to KO that Golisopod and take that win. Holy smokes. That was a tough one. That game was not going my way. But still able to win it. Good game. I'm moving on. We do have an Alola Ninetales lead. My opponent does switch out into Golisopod. I'm going to bring in my Pidgeot. This is a good matchup because you do double resist the Shadow Claws. And usually I do go for Brave Bird before they get to another liquidation because I've never had my opponent shield. Just because, I mean, the Shadow Claws is really not doing any damage, right? Because I do double resist it. And yeah, they don't shield that. Makes sense. The only thing is I have had trainers safe swap into a Golisopod, and then they ultimately end up having like a what is it, like, yeah, like a Virizion or a Trevenant in the back, and that's really bad for me. But when Golisopod comes in, you still, even if you still have to bring in the Pidgeot, right? Jellicent coming in. Uh-oh. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and go for a Stone Edge, hoping to pick up a shield right now, and we do actually pick up that shield. So now I am up shields, which is good. I'm actually going to go ahead and call this. I knew even if it was a Shadow Ball, I'd live it, and it is, in fact, a Shadow Ball. So this I know is a Surf. I could have shielded that Shadow Ball because now I have to shield Surfs, which is not ideal for me. But I'm not going to go ahead and bait here. I'm just going to go ahead and go straight for the Shadow Ball. And my opponent will, in fact, shield that. I want to get off one more. You know, I knew this was a Surf, but for some reason I still shielded it. I would have lived that, I'm pretty sure. And now the Ninetales comes in to throw an attack, which will KO me. Well, actually, no. It won't KO me if it's a Weather Ball, and it is a Weather Ball. So I actually live that. And I'm saving my Shadow Ball for later. Because I was like, I need that Shadow Ball for the Jellicent. So I'm actually going to save that. Dazzling Gleam's not going to KO, that's fine. And I'm going to be able to double kick all the way down. I'm going to go ahead and go for the Stone Edge right now into the Jellicent. It's certainly in Shadow Ball range. But I actually make it to another Stone Edge, and this is going to be enough to KO. So it's not really going to matter. I'm not going to need that Jellicent. But just in case, I kept it with the Shadow Ball, right? Good game, well played to my opponent. Alright, very nice indeed. Let's go ahead and move into the next battle. Cobalion into Chris. Ooh, I don't like this matchup. Safe swap into Pidgeot. Hopefully they don't have a Steel type. Hopefully you could flip the secondary matchup and it's actually Cobalion. So when I said no Steel types, Cobalion is fine to see because it's a Steel fighting type. So it's taking neutral damage from these flying attacks. So that's good. I'm going to debuff it. I do live a Stone Edge now. You could shield this. I'm not going to go ahead and shield it. And I'm going to go ahead and farm up, throwing the Brave Bird, which will be enough to feint. I actually thought that they would shield this one, but they don't shield it, which is good. Cresselia coming in. Can I make it? I can, in fact, make it. So, very nice. I do make it. Now, the only thing was, when Jellicent comes in, if they have Grass Knot, it's super effective towards me, and they're getting a lot of farm, which is less than ideal. But that's okay because we also did a lot of damage to the Cresselia. So I'm just going to go ahead and take an attack. And it's actually Fuchsia Sight, so they do not have Grass Knot, which is good for me. Still does a good amount of damage, and they're going to be able to get off another one. So I will go ahead and shield this, and it is going to be a Fuchsia Sight, so that is a good shield by me. Swampert coming in. Okay, we know that Cobalion does not really like that Pokemon. So I'm going to go ahead and stay in here for right now. Picking up a shield. I'm going to go ahead and go for another Surf, hoping to pick up the second shield from my opponent, but they actually let that one go. And I'm actually able to get off another one. Very nice. So this will get it pretty low. It's not going to be enough to KO, but they do shield that. And I do see an attack coming in, so do I shield this one up? I don't. I let it go. It's going to be that Earthquake. It will be enough to KO me. I think I call the Hydro Cannon here. Because I'm like, well, Earthquake will KO, but I'm just going to call it. And it is, in fact, the Hydro Cannon. This I know is another Hydro Cannon. But I'm still going to go ahead and shield it because it's going to get me low. And they actually, oh man, I remember that one. They make a beautiful catch onto their Cresselia. Really well done. But shields are down. I gotta charge up a lot of energy. Gonna go ahead and charge up enough. So I do have a Sacred Sword for the Swampert, but I'm thinking it's not gonna be enough to KO. I actually don't have it quite yet, but I do get to it. But this is actually going to be enough to knock it out. So despite that, a beautiful catch by my opponent, was still able to win that one. Well played. Really well played. Really beautiful catch. Let's move on to the next one. Cobalion into Wolverine. Absolutely love to see it. Yes, they do have Earthquake, but still a great matchup. Okay. Beautiful shiny as well. I love shiny Mandibuzz. I'm going to go ahead and go for the Stone Edge right now and then switch into Pidgeot. They do decide to shield this one, which is fine. Wasn't going to bait that because I didn't know if they were going to shield. Mandibuzz can take that. It's such a tank. But I am up a shield. So I do have to, well, do I have to win switch here? Because Jellicent does fine against Wolverine as well. But obviously I don't know what's in the back. I'm going to go ahead and throw my Feather Dance right now. I need to debuff it. And my opponent, they do have Air Slash, so I am keeping track of energy. And it's going to be a Dark Pulse. I do want to throw this... actually, oh, they actually switch out. Okay, so yeah, I think what I was going to do there, I was going to let them throw an attack. I was going to shield it. And if they stayed in, but they did not stay in. I do go down, that's fine. So this is what I'm going to do here. I'm going to shield the first attack from my opponent. If it's an Icicle Spear, I will throw a Sacred Sword. If it's an Earthquake, I will commit to the farm down. And it is the Earthquake, which is beautiful, so I do get that farm down. Maybe I could have farmed down even if it was an Icicle Spear. But either way, Swampert coming in. Swampert's a really common Pokemon, as you know, right? So Sacred Sword coming out. I'm going to go ahead and switch into my Jellicent. I could safely throw Surfs. They know this is not a Shadow Ball, but... it's not going to KO, but it will at least get it relatively low, forcing a shield. Yeah, I got to save my shield for Cobalion, right? So I'm going to go ahead and throw the Surf there. My opponent is going to go ahead and throw a Dark Pulse. It's not going to be enough to KO me. Another one, though, will, especially after that Air Slash, but I do get off my attack. I want to get it off ASAP to get them low enough. This is not going to be enough to knock out. And they're going to be able to KO me, but I'm going to let it go and farm down with Cobalion. Just one more double kick should knock out, but no, it's actually two more. That's how tanky it is, which is actually good for me. But Swampert is, of course, coming back in. I'm going to be able to get off a couple Sacred Swords. One more. Oh, they do get off an attack. I'm going to go ahead and shield. And I knew I lived a Hydro Cannon, so I knew even if this was a Hydro and they managed to get off another Hydro, I would live it. So, but it's actually the Earthquake, which is good for me. So, I'm going to be able to KO that Swampert. I wasn't sure if that Sacred Sword would KO. I thought it might live with 1 HP, but it doesn't. Good game. Moving on. Ooh, okay. We love the Steelix lead. My opponent actually lags here for a little bit, which is unfortunate. I don't know if they... I don't know. But either way, I bring in Jellicent, and then they just surrender. I was meaning to cut that game out. But I guess I accidentally put it in. Either way, that was just RPS regardless, right? Alright, moving on. Cobalion into Golisopod. Okay. So Golisopod is an interesting matchup. Stone Edge will do a lot of damage. You could bait here. You could go straight Stone Edge. Usually what I do is I let the first attack go, and then I have baited. I have went straight for Stone Edge. Could go either way. In this case, I am going to bait, but my opponent actually makes a beautiful catch onto Tapu Fini. So really well done to them. Would have liked throwing the Stone Edge, but I'm going to go ahead and go into my Jellicent right now. I guess the good thing here is that, when all is said and done, I'm going to win this matchup, so I will have the Pidgeot on that Golisopod, which is nice. And I think I shield this Moonblast. There's no reason for them to bait. I didn't expect it. So I'm just going to go. I didn't expect the bait at all, so I'm going to just go farm up a lot of energy. And throw the Surf. Probably could have went a little more, but maybe they would have gotten to a Surf if I did. Either way, that will KO, and Golisopod is coming in. I'm going to go ahead and throw my Shadow Ball right now. And this Shadow Ball is going to pick up the shield. Okay, very nice. I do get the shield back. I'll just let this go. I resist everything besides Aerial Ace. I resist Liquidation, so that's fine. Not Shadow Claw, but all the charge attacks. They're going to go ahead and throw another attack, which will be enough to knock me out, but that's fine. I'll just let the Jellicent go so I can have Pidgeot on this. Actually, I bring in Cobalion. Oh, yeah, that's right. I decided to bring in Cobalion because I was predicting that there was something strong against Cobalion in the back. So I wanted to save the Pidgeot. So they actually shield that, and now I go into Pidgeot right now. And I'm going to go ahead and shield that one up, and it's going to be a Nidoqueen. So I was correct. There is something strong. I wasn't thinking Nidoqueen. I was thinking maybe a Virizion and a Trevenant. That's why I wanted to save the Pidgeot. But no, it's in fact a Nidoqueen. Okay, so I'm just going to go ahead and let this one go. Not that I have a choice. I'm out of shields. But anyway, I'm counting. It's going to be a CMP when I get to the move. So I'm going to go ahead and throw right now. This will be enough to KO the Shadow Nidoqueen. As it does, so and now out comes Golisopod, and Golisopod is going to be enough to KO my Pidgeot, right? This attack, whatever it is, even X Scissor because I am debuffed, and I go for the Sacred Sword. I thought I was going to lose because I thought they were at a move, but they actually won away, and one more double kick will KO, so I'm actually going to be able to take that one. I think they just got to the move there, but yeah, I'm able to win that one. Great games. Love this team. Been using it for so many seasons, and it never disappoints. Let me put it that way. But either way, if you want to give it a try, let me know how it goes. It is expensive. It is an XL team, right? The Pidgeot and the Jellicent at least. But either way, that will be it for this one. I'll see you in the next one. Have a good day. Bye.